showing you some of the freeze dryer stuff. First we have to vent it. And I've had these soups in actually for a couple days. They took 45 hours and it may actually take a little bit longer. But I wanted to at least show you. All I did here was measure out the soup, and there's 6 cups on each tray of this particular soup. This happens to be beef, barley, vegetable. This is also beef, barley, and veg. And this is chicken noodle, although the noodles got a little overcooked. I'm gonna touch it because these are out for us. Normally I would put gloves on. But you can see that it came out crispy. And it'll actually flake down. And so what I'll do is take this over. 6 cups is about 4 portions for us. So I'm going to divide it pretty evenly. Here's a carrot, nice and crunchy. It's actually really good dry like this. But if you find yourself eating lots of freeze-dried stuff, make sure you drink lots of extra water too. But what I do is check each tray. If it's still cold in the middle, or you can feel the moisture, then it might not be quite done. And this one, it's really, really close. I think I'm gonna actually put it in for, no, you know what? It's been in a couple of times. Here's potato from the beef, barley, veg. I love snacking on these, it's ridiculous. And then down below, I have a bunch of chunks of maitake mushrooms, and these suckers are practically weightless, but they'll go into long-term storage as well. You can see here a huge chunk of ice on either side this time because there's so much moisture that pulled out. There's actually a drain way back in the back here, and this thing collects dust like crazy. It's cleaned again. I just cleaned it last batch. Once I take this out, I can choose either to have a heated defrost. You can give it more dry time, or no defrost and just let it be ambient temperature. And that's probably what I'll do today because I have some other things to do before I can put it back in. Check out my decal by Baghdad to Barnyard. I'm loving that. So anyhow, here's how it comes out. Putting it in was super simple. I measured the soup into the trays and I laid it flat in my freezer for a couple of hours to let it pre-freeze. I really like pre-freezing everything. It just makes the switch out cycle go a little bit quicker for some reason. Next up, I have some heavy duty Mylar bags. I think these are 8" by 8" or 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And today I am going to be putting the maitake pieces in these with oxygen absorbers. My labeling system, super simple. Sharpie, what it is, date, and about how much it is. Okay, it's a little tough to do this one-handed, so I already set my bag in the heat sealer. All I'm gonna do is press down and let it seal. You probably heard it click off. And it's done. Some people seal it twice. I feel like I got a pretty good seal here. Although I got a little close to the edge here, so I think probably one time will do just fine. Again, doing this one-handed, bear with me. This is my super fancy method of figuring out what's what as far as water content, because you want to be able to rehydrate your soups and such. So I measured, weighed it before it went in. It was 2,200 grams. Now it is 952 grams. I like grams for this because it seems like it's a little bit more accurate, and it's actually pretty simple to convert grams of water to fluid ounces or milliliters of water. So now what I'll do is I'll divide it into servings, and I'll go through my little calculations. And somebody asked me about freeze drying soups and stuff. So I'm actually going to keep one portion of this out to show how I go about reconstituting it, because also I love chicken noodle soup and that is absolutely no hardship to do. Now my bag wrinkled a little bit because I actually crinkled it a little bit to make everything fit a little nicer. But here we have 3 bags of what would have been leftovers that could have gone bad. I don't know if we'd have eaten it quickly enough or not, but they are now preserved for if somebody's not feeling well. And once I run the math, then I will add my number of ounces of water. Sometimes I add the milliliters as well, sometimes I don't. That's why I like to write on the Mylar before I put anything in it. Once you put the oxygen absorber in, it very often kind of contracts in the package once it's sealed up. Not always, and it's actually not a big deal if it doesn't, but this is what seems to happen pretty often. Alright guys, it took me a little bit to get here, but I am finally ready to rehydrate the soup. I have it stored in the glass jar. This happens to be a plain old mason jar. Shake it out. So I calculated that there should be 10 ounces of water per serving. And I did the boring part and already heated the water. We're at about 10 ounces. And it really should be just this simple. I'm gonna let it sit. That's not true. I'm gonna stir it around a little bit. Make sure it's all submerged. And I can tell, and I don't know how well it comes through, what's left of the noodles. They got reheated pretty many times. Normally noodles do very, very well. These were already kind of mush. They rehydrated almost instantly. The broth rehydrated almost instantly. The pieces of chicken are gonna take a little bit longer, and the carrots are gonna take a little bit longer. So I'm just gonna let this sit for couple of minutes and I'll be back. Okay, it's been 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't cover this. If we're out on the trail backpacking or something, I usually zipper the bag back closed because, well, it doesn't spill. You can see the steam still coming off. It's still nice and hot. And now, even though I'm jumping the gun a little bit, I'm gonna try it. Camera. Figure this nonsense out here. Oops, wrong way. I don't know if this is even gonna work. And that's it. Everything's nice and rehydrated. It's just that quick. And the chicken's maybe ever so slightly crunchy yet, but not enough that it would slow me down from eating the rest. So that's all there is to rehydration. Just pour the water in, let it sit a few minutes, call it good.